Y'all ready to be history?
Get started.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
To the Pro Audio Suite.
These guys are professional. They're motivated.
Thanks to TriBooth, the best vocal booth for home or on-the-road voice recording. And Austrian Audio, making passion heard. Introducing Robert Marshall from Source Elements and Someone Audio Post, Chicago. Darren Robbo Robertson from Voodoo Radio Imaging, Sydney. Tech to the VO Stars, George the Tech Whittam from LA. And me, Andrew Peters, voiceover talent and home studio guy.
Line up, learner!
Here we go.
And welcome to another Pro Audio Suite, thanks to Austrian Audio, making passion heard. And TriBooth, don't forget the code, TRIPAP 200, to get your TriBooth. And 3 reasons why you should get a TriBooth. 1, you can stand up to work. 2, it comes with a bundle of goodies from George. And 3, it fits in a suitcase. Much like my little friend, the Gib. That's another story.
Oh dear.
Today,
they're going to say that George comes in a suitcase. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's my little ventriloquist doll. He quite enjoys the hand bit. But anyway, we're talking about AI today because, George, you stumbled across a TV show or a YouTube show, streaming show or something.
Yeah, it was just a YouTube. It's a YouTube channel. It's not a big channel either. I was saying it's big enough that it got served to me as a suggested video, right? I didn't seek it out.
Yeah.
So it's not too tiny. This video has 55,000 views. It's from a month ago. And it's a couple of folks walking around an architect's home that is really incredible, just a tour de force of interesting design. And it's very Spartan. It's got a lot of concrete. The audio would clearly be reverberant, not awesome, right? Mm-hmm. It would be pretty funky. Yeah. So whoever did the post on this video, in my opinion, clearly used some AI type tools to clean up the audio, right? Let's face it, anybody doing YouTube videos of real estate tours, unless it's a really big budget, production, and some of them are now actually, real estate can be quite, especially high-end
properties, totally.
Yeah. And so, but this is just a tour of a guy's house. And so they clearly didn't have a lot of resources, and they just used what had available to them. And they must have found in Descript the studio sound switch. It's just a switch you turn on. Now, if you don't know any better, you just turn it on and go, well, that sounds really good, right? And you leave it go. I, as an engineer, there's a slider, and I can slide that thing to the left, and I can detune it, and it changes it dramatically when you do that. And other tools are coming along now with similar sort of all or nothing settings, right? Podcast.adobe.com has had one for a while now, maybe a year or more. That's been a bit of a parlor trick, actually, the way it fixes audio. This definitely falls into that same category. So I'll play a little bit of this video's audio. And keep in mind, concrete house, concrete glass, 2 people, no boom mic, just 2 lav mics. It should sound pretty reverberant and lively. This is what it sounds like.
We brought these in for a photo shoot, and I love them so much. I just kept them.
Amazing.
They're made out of stainless steel.
Wow.
They're actually really comfortable. They don't look like they are, but I like sitting in them. You shouldn't.
They comfortable might be a bit of a stretch.
Maybe not for a whole movie, but
no, I love these ones. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, these are vintage from Amsterdam.
You get the point.
Yeah, and then, of course, the garbled version of English that all of a sudden tips into Scandinavian for a second.
Yeah, well, that makes me wonder whether that's 2 things. Is that de-reverb working too hard and just cutting things off in a way that makes it sound funny?
No, I will tell you unequivocally that I've had that experience with Descript.
Okay.
I've been listening to my audio with studio sound on, and I've been like, what the heck just happened? What happened to my voice right there? That is crazy. And then I go in and I detune it, go from 100% to like 90%. And it's like a totally different algorithm. Like, so when it's at 100, it's literally replace your voice with an AI version of you. That's what it's doing, right? It's very unnatural, very weird, extremely, the word I can think of here is extremely sterile to a bizarre point. There's no room tone. There's nothing. It's just voices in your head. You know what I mean?
It's like the AI doesn't recognize a word or a sentence and just makes something up.
Yeah, it gets absolutely confused. And Descript's studio sound thing will do that once in a blue moon. It does do it. I don't know why. I don't know how to disable it, other than, again, with Descript, I can detune it from 99. If I go from 100% to 99%, it's a different algorithm. It sounds totally different. And then you can sort of fine tune it, right? But guys, I guess what I'm saying is, if you're relying on these AI tools as a easy click, move along kind of solution, they aren't, because they are not predictable.
Yeah.
They're just not predictable.
Yeah.
Even with, clearly, as you heard, they hallucinate even with human voice. It's just all the same thing, whether it's video, a graphic, an audio file. It's uncanny until it's not. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, that's fake.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's happening with audio now, too. So I don't know what to say beyond that. I don't know what you guys think, and what tools have you run into anything akin to this at all in your experience?
Well, I'm just thinking of the early days of deep breath. When the first deep breath came out, which I think who
like
had that?
Waves deep breath you're talking about?
Yeah.
It could have been. It was really early in the piece.
Yeah,
it
would like make people. It would like depluralize words.
Yeah, it would do all sorts of funny things.
Yeah, I mean,
So you just ran it, and if you didn't do playback and you send this thing off, I feel sorry for the bunny at the other end.
it's kind of funny. That's one of the reasons why I never really cared that much about faster than real time bounce, because ultimately, if you don't listen to what you send out, it is your fault.
I agree.
And faster than real time bounce is great for, like, oh, here you go,
auditions,
approval stuff. But the last one that goes out.
Tell me, have you ever mixed a TV program, Robert, and done a non real time bounce?
Never.
Neither have I, and I can't see that I ever would. I might, as you say, I might do it as a director's mix, sort of for them to listen to, but I would never do a final mix of anything like that and just keep my fingers crossed that it sounded
it's
good.
like, if you do, then you got to play it anyway.
Well, yeah, you got to listen to it back. You got to listen to it back at some stage. And let's be honest, it's really the only stage in the process where you actually get to sit back and just listen to it overall. Because when you're mixing, you're listening to certain things, and then I'll sort of, I don't know what your process is, but then towards the end, I'll just go through and I'll listen for a confidence mix, and you'll always pick up a few little things. So that last time is when you're bouncing it out, is when you've actually gone, okay, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm just going to sit back and watch it as a listener now. And that's when you go, shit, well, maybe I should change that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because when it's bouncing, you're not...
It's hard to step away as a listener when you're that close.
When you're bouncing, you're not watching the tracks roll by.
No, and you're not counting, you're not listening for anything specifically, you're just doing it as a listening.
In Pro Tools, there's sort of three options. You have bounce to disk, which is going to give you either a faster than real-time option or a real-time option. And the real-time option, you would hear it, but you would not see the video playback. Faster real-time, you wouldn't hear it, except, funny enough, if you had the old Source Live plugin, then you would hear through the stream.
Oh, that's good.
Well, I capture it all to separate tracks. I bounce my stems and everything else out at once. So internally.
That's what I do.
That gives me, if it's a TV program, for example, I just hit record and I basically sit there and watch it as a viewer for 40 minutes or whatever.
Right, and you get your separate, stems and your mix, your stereo maybe, and your surround mix all in one. Just
exactly.
Even just like me not being an engineer, but just recording my voice and doing a quick edit to send off, or a long edit, depends on how long the file is. But I if I've got the luxury of the time, I'll do it, and then I'll disappear for an hour, and then come back and play it back to see how it sounds.
Yep.
Because it's funny when you clean it, refresh your head.
Yeah, you have to eat some ginger.
Is that right?
You have to
I've got some ginger.
Eat some ginger. Like they give you in what do you call it?
Yeah,
like
for
sushi.
sushi. You need an oral amuse-bouche. I use that word again.
Yeah.
But
for those.
So how many times
Or
have you guys
a palate
been
cleanser,
mid-bounce and gone, crap?
Well, see, that's the beauty of
Many times.
bouncing it down to or sort of recording it down to another track, is you can just stop, fix whatever it is, scroll back 5 seconds and just punch in and keep going.
And jump in, right. So actually, if you're on, especially if you're on the clocked Pro Tools systems, but even now, pretty much any one of them, imagine you're doing like a 2-hour movie and I've done a few documentaries, but usually I'm 30 seconds. But for a really long movie, I start bouncing right away. And then I always use the same file. And then Pro Tools has a feature called Destructive, where you can punch into one section and just you plow right into that WAV file. And that way you don't have to like suffer through the whole thing to make a new file. And you're not eating up so much hard drive space every time you make a new file, because if you just like, fast and real time, you're just like 2-hour file.
That's cool.
2 hour.
I heard of that mode. I just didn't know.
You kind of treat it like tape.
Yeah, I didn't realize
that's an interesting way. I just do the consolidate at the end. I just highlight them all and consolidate and do it that way. But everyone's got their own way.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Well, I guess the point is
you have to make sure the punch is good. I always roll.
Yeah, I do
punch
pre-roll.
in.
Yeah, pre-roll and punch in a couple of seconds.
Yep.
I guess the moral of the story is listen to absolutely everything you send out. Folks,
never trust a computer. I mean, even not even a Mac. Never trust it completely. There's too many things that can go wrong. There really is. I mean, seriously.
I've had people hurriedly send in auditions with their MacBook mic because they just didn't notice that they were recording from the MacBook mic.
Listen back.
Yeah.
Even listen to your dubs. Here's a crazy story. This is like around 96, 97. Doing a radio spot and dubbing cassettes for the client. And in the radio spot is a guy watching TV. So I put on the sound of a TV, which in America is like 15K, right? Like that high frequency, like that you hear with an old school TV. So I put that in the mix. Everything's fine. I make the dubs on the cassette. I just give them the cassettes. And they come back and they're like, the cassettes sound all like, all weird. And it turns out that 15K sound that I put in there that no one could hear anyways, probably totally messed with the bias of the cassette when the dubs were made.
Oh, wow.
It's like, it was a weird, but I didn't listen to them. I just, hit record.
Yeah.
Here you go.
I remember, we built studios at George Pat's. And the guy who did all the wiring was a guy called Terry Fogg, and he still does my wiring actually. And he built these sort of switch panels, and on one side was what you were recording, but on the other side was like a confidence monitor. So if you were doing a mix and you were striping to SP as well as a time-coded DAT and whatever else you may be recording to, you could actually, and they had them all listed, and you would just click on the button that you wanted to listen to, and you could just check. As you were going, you could listen back to it while it was being striped. So you could, I just want to check that the SP audio, yep, that's okay, yep. And you could just flick through each one. And it was so convenient just to be able to do that. I mean, you can do it with routing now in Pro Tools, but in those days, that was like, man, this is so cool. I can listen back to what I need to and make sure it's sounding good.
So listen back. I did actually send off an ad. I had about 5 of them to do, and I always deep breath edit, make sure they're, running to 30 or 28, depending on what they are. So I thought I'd done them all. Until, for some reason, I looked at one of the WAV files after I'd sent, and I thought, that doesn't look like it's been edited. And it was appalling. Like, because I just pick up as I go and say, oh, fuck that, and I'll, so all that shit went up to the client.
Whoops. Yeah. Gotta be careful. Yeah. So Open mic. It's the same thing as a radio station, isn't it? Make sure that fucking mic's off before you say anything you don't want anyone else to hear.
And we've all done that.
Well, that was fun. Is it over?
The Pro Audio Suite, with thanks to TriBooth and Austrian Audio, recorded using Source Connect, edited by Andrew Peters, and mixed by Voodoo Radio Imaging, with tech support from George the Tech Whittam. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and join in the conversation on our Facebook group. To leave a comment, suggest a topic, or just say g'day, drop us a note at our website, theproaudiosuite.com.